question 19. I call on the Honourable Member for Arby Castown Maloo, Mr Morehouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I would like to ask the Chief Minister if we'll make a statement on the additional clarification given to A, key workers, and B, others arriving on the island since the 1st of September 2020.
I want the Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. On the 29th of September 2020, a group, and I presume is the Honourable Member saying should it be the 1st of October, because this event happened on the 29th of September, but on the 29th of September, a group of 5 key workers from the UK breached the terms of their entry into the island and were subsequently prosecuted. In light of this breach, and in line with a wholesale review of the key worker process that has been underway since August, several changes to the process have been made. Many of the new procedures are undertaken at the point of application and continue up to the day before the arrival in the island, with increased contact between the key workers team, the sponsor and the individual worker. On arrival, there is a dedicated lane for key workers, and they also have a separate landing form. The amended landing form includes a tick box of statements that the key worker must initial to ensure that they have read and understood the conditions of their exemption certificate. The statements are as follows. I understand the information provided with the entry certificate. I understand that during the first 14 days of my visit, I am only permitted to travel between my accommodation and place of work specified within the entry certificate. I understand that I must not visit shops, bars, restaurants, gyms or similar facilities. I understand when and where I am to wear the correct PPE within the first 14 days. I understand and have seen and read the provided risk assessment submitted alongside the original application. I understand that failure to comply and breaching these conditions may result in a fine of up to £10,000 or up to 3 months in prison. I think that's quite clear, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Mr Morehouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and thank you, Chief Minister, for giving us that clarification again. Is it possible that some people who ignore the requirements are not fully aware of the full implications of having a criminal conviction on their future travel and employment opportunities? And does this need to be stressed more clearly? It will potentially reinforce the importance of sticking to these vitally important rules.
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thought it was eminently clear before we tightened up the measures that if you came to the Isle of Man, that the form was there. I think it was in red lettering. You must go straight to your accommodation. In the case of the 5, I think it's well known that their supervisor had told them they could not go to Tesco's, but they still decided to do that. It was premeditated, and the fact that they were going for their lunch, well, I don't think sausage rolls and alcohol is much of a diet to be keeping. They clearly knew the rules. We have tightened it up as much as possible, but the rules were clear from day one. We've made it clear. I've read out the what they've now got to sign, that they understand, and I understand that failure to comply and breaching these conditions may result in a fine of up to £10,000 or up to 3 months in prison. That answers your supplementary, Honourable Member. Thank you.
Supplementary question, Mr Shimmons.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. We heard earlier about the review which has been undertaken for the Council of Ministers on the key workers process, and I think we all would welcome that. Perhaps the Chief Minister could advise who is undertaking that review, and will that review be shared with the members of this honourable House? Thank you.
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and it will be the Chief Secretary and his goal team who will be doing the review of the key workers. That will then be shared with the Council of Ministers. Any changes will obviously be brought to Tynwald for amendments, so honourable members will see any changes. Thank you, Mr Speaker.